Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay, first of all, I want you to see some of my Christmas presents. See? Who's that? Walt, our man, and, oh, I gotta go forward again. See, so cute. And that for my car. My family knows how much I love Breaking Bad, so I got a few little goodies this Christmas for Breaking Bad, and oh, don't you hate that it's over? Don't you wish? And I gotta wait long enough that it will seem like I forget. That's one good thing about being older. Sometimes you forget and you can watch a whole movie and it's almost like you've never seen it before. So if I wait a little bit longer, I can start it all over again, and then I will have forgotten. Sometimes when they even mention, do you remember when Walt did this or Jesse did that? I've forgotten, so it's almost time when I can start again. Yay! Okay. Anyway, let me see. We had just heard from God. Remember, we talked about this last time about how you hear from God. And I heard first that we were supposed to give everything away, and then a week later, without me telling him anything, God spoke the exact same thing to him. So that was a real confirmation. And when it's something big, you need a confirmation, because this was going to completely change our lives in ways we could have never even dreamed of. And it was not always easy, extremely difficult. And so there were a lot of times when we were thinking, what did we do? We destroyed our family's lives. And so we had to remember these little confirmations that God gave us, and that helped. Anyway, now it's like that we've done these things, it's easier to trust him because we know that he's going to come through, even when it seems as though you step off a cliff and there's no ground under you. By the time that your foot goes down, there's ground there to meet it. But sometimes it takes a long time to see answers, and so that is so scary. Anyway, so we were leaving from Miami, so all we knew was to travel up Florida. We didn't know where we were going. We had no idea what we were doing. All we knew was that we had put our 52 boxes of personal items into storage. We had our 9 duffel bags, and we had 1 car, and that was it. And we had no money, and so we were not used to using credit cards. But we felt, that was the only option we had for the moment. And it turned out to be a really good thing that we broke our rule or whatever of not getting into debt, and we temporarily got into big debt. And I say temporarily because you're going to see in the future, God supernaturally, sovereignly provided and paid off our debt. So thank God for that. But in the meantime, it was really scary because we were putting money on this credit card. Well, he told us to use it temporarily. He said we could use it to get going, but then he was going to tell us to stop, and which he did. But it turned out to be, in retrospect, a really good thing that we used the credit card, because we had kind of made judgments against people who use credit card and get into debt. And the very, very first person that we ended up meeting in our destination had to use a credit card and was very in debt. And we're glad that we didn't have hearts that were going to judge her. So, but to get back on point, we started to travel up, and it was on my oldest daughter Lexi's 8th birthday. And did I already mention? Yeah, I did, about this. Did I mention that this is all here because I'm putting away Christmas decorations? If I didn't, oh well. I guess that's called a senior moment. I'm 58, so maybe I had a senior moment. Oh well. Anyway, I don't remember. But anyway, so we left on her 8th birthday, which is April 20th. No, yeah, April 20th, 1997, and it turns out, we didn't know it at the time, but her birthday is drug day. I don't know if you guys know that, but 4/20, when she got her, one of her emails, which she later changed, everybody was saying, "What, are you really into drugs or something?" She found out that that was drug day, but it is her birthday. So anyway, we started to travel up Miami, and we were from Miami up Florida, and we were so scared. We were petrified. We didn't know where we were going, and so the first place we went was to in Pensacola, Florida. They were having a Christian event, and so we just stayed there a week resting and trying to get peace back into our lives, because it was really hard what we went through. And while we were there, we met some wonderful people from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and they invited us to come and spend some time with them. So the next place was Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And so when we were there, God really broke through and started to speak to Jose. And you know, I hear God through visual things, you know, I see things, but Jose hears more words. And so he heard the word New Mexico, and we knew nothing about New Mexico. And so we started to go towards New Mexico. And then when we were in Longview, Texas, on our way towards New Mexico, then God spoke to Jose again the word Pueblo. And we both speak Spanish. Him better than me because he's from Cuba, but we both speak Spanish. And so to us the word Pueblo means people, or people group, or town. And so we didn't know what God was saying about that until we opened up the atlas to see New Mexico, and in the map of New Mexico, Pueblo is mentioned 19 different times, because it turns out that Pueblo are a people group. They are a Native American. It's called the Pueblo Indians. I know that that term isn't used anymore, but they call themselves that, the Pueblo Indians. So, and so we were amazed, and it was another confirmation that we were not out of our minds. And so we started to go towards, well, the one that stuck out to us was Pueblo Santo Domingo. And so I'll talk more about that when I come to I will talk more next time about actually landing in New Mexico. And so that's all we've got for now, and I will see you later. Bye!